What's up, my good people, and welcome back in to the Bully Ball Show on Sparks TV. I'm your host, Nino Sparks, aka the Mid Range Bully. Now, quick vid for you today. Game 2 reaction. The Dallas Mavericks beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 109 to 108 in what was a close game. The Timberwolves once again had a chance to steal this game, but an absolute dagger from Luka Doncic. And I don't know how Rudy Gobert got switched on Luka Doncic, but like I said, at some point he was gonna end up on an island on his own, and he was gonna get exposed in these playoffs. So I'm gonna break it all down like a fraction, but as always, before we get started, if it's your first time tapping in, or maybe you tapped in before, go ahead, tap that like, tap that subscribe, tap that notification bell so you can stay tapped in. Let's get it. I'm gonna try to keep this video under 7 minutes, just a quick one for you, and I'm gonna double back with the Eastern Conference finals reaction. Usually like to do these videos after game one, give you my predictions, but since I'm late to it, I'm gonna just break it down like this. So I do have the Dallas Mavericks winning in 7. Now I would say it'd probably be over in 6, maybe even 5. But the Minnesota Timberwolves, like I said in my last video, I wasn't gonna bet against Ant-Man. But after what I've seen, they just don't got enough. And you can't bet with your heart. And that's what this is. These are just hypothetical bets. So for that, I gotta go with Luka. Big Luka. He said, motherfucker, you can't guard me. You can't guard me. And what it's gonna come down to is for the T-Wolves to make this a fight, Karl Anthony Towns has to give you more than 14 points. Excuse me, he gave you 15. Got to give you more than 15. Jaden McDaniels got to give you more than 2 points. Mike Conley gave you 18. Nas Reed finally showed up. Dropped 23. And I'm not going to say finally showed up, but he showed up big with 23 points and hit key shots down the stretch. But the Dallas Mavericks, they supporting cast was better, and the fact is they haven't even played up to their potential. PJ Washington in the last series was damn near their best player at times. Not their best player overall, but in that series, he only gave you 10 points in game 2. Derrick Jones Jr. only gave you 4 points. Gafford gave you 18. Lively chipped in with 14 points. They didn't even play that well in terms of scoring. So imagine when PJ Washington does have a big game. The problem is, the fact is Luka and Kyrie, they don't even need them to play that great. They just need them to do what they did. Just chip in. Because at any given time, Kyrie can win you a game, which he did in game 1. Oh, by the way, he gave you 20 points last night. 26 and 4. And then in game 2, the Don won you a game. And we don't even know if Luka's 100%. He playing with that thing, with a sling on his knee. And he gave you 32, 13, and 10 in 41 minutes. With a dagger. Now let's talk about that switch. Like I said, Rudy Gobert, and it's funny because in the last series, before the last series, he said that he felt comfortable guarding anybody, guarding guards out on the perimeter. I watched that last sequence maybe 5 or 6 times just because I love seeing players go into that offensive bag. Luka don't even move fast, and you seen how he broke him down. And the fact that Karl Anthony Towns wasn't even in the game at the end of the game tells you a lot. This is the type of shit, and I like Karl Anthony Towns, but this is the type of shit that made Jimmy Butler get up out of there. Because the dude is great at times, and then he give you 15. Come on, dog. You're better than that. And the only way they make this a series is if Karl Anthony Towns can be the third to fourth best player in a given game. And he's got the ability to do so. But whether or not he's going to do that. Because like I said, any game, those two guys could win you a game. They're not going to have a game where both of them are off. Anthony Edwards been struggling. He still gave you 21. Which is low for his standards. For how we look at him now. But I'm not mad at people for picking the Timberwolves because on paper, you got the defensive player of the year. No disrespect to Rudy Gobert. I put some respect on his name in the last series. But let's call it like it is. The first two games against Denver, he didn't play, they won. The next two he played, they lost. Now we're seeing what it looks like when you go against elite guard play. You're getting cooked. I didn't think he was a defensive player. I thought Anthony Davis should have got that. But I guess now wins factor into. I'm getting off topic. I said I was going to keep it 7 minutes. Let me give you a little bit more. Let me close it like this. You got Rudy Gobert. You got the sixth man of the year, Naz Reid, who showed up last night, 23 points. You got an all-star in Karl Anthony Towns. You got an emerging two-way player in Jaden McDaniels, even though he just gave you 2 points. I think he being asked to do a lot. But him and Ant, they wanted that smoke, and they getting it. But you got him. You got a veteran in Mike Conley. Kyle Anderson, a young veteran. Alexander Walker, a good defender, been around for a little minute. And you got your superstar in Ant-Man. On paper, y'all should be winning. It's been close. I'm not saying they don't get a game or two. I just don't see them beating them other two guys 4 times in a row. I think this is where it ends for the Timberwolves. And they've had a hell of a season, making it to the Western Conference Finals for the second time in a franchise history. But if they don't get it done, they're going to have to start looking around. They're going to look around at who, and it's going to come down to Karl Anthony Towns. He's the only guy, probably the biggest asset, that you can trade. You can't trade Rudy Gobert. You're not going to trade him. Gave up too much to get him. You're not going to get that much back. Nobody's going to give you 5 first-round picks for him. You're not going to trade Jaden McDaniels. That's your future. Ant-Man's your future. Karl Anthony Towns, they've seen what you can do as far as being the guy for the franchise. He's going to be the guy. He's going to be the odd man out, sad to say. Because Naz Reid can do a lot of what he can do. And it was telling that he was in the game at the end of the game and Karl Anthony Towns wasn't. It's not just because you like the matchup you got. And this was a close game. It came down to 1 point. But that's all I got for free. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Are the T-Wolves going to get swept? Can they win a game or two? Or can they make this a series? I think it's going to come down to Cat. If he can start showing up big, if he can show up big in the next game and the next game after that, I think they got a chance. but I got Dallas in 6. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll tap back in later. Peace.